Most people picture the life of a long-haul truck driver as something close to miserable. A guy folded onto a thin mattress behind the seats, a cold gas station burrito for dinner, no shower for days, and a parking lot full of noise outside the window. That's the image. Cramped, lonely, kind of grim. But here's the truth. For a huge number of drivers, none of that is accurate. They're not enduring life on the road. They've engineered it. They sleep in a sealed, climate-controlled bunk that some of them swear beats the bed they have at home. They shower in private rooms cleaner than most hotel bathrooms, and a lot of them never pay a cent for it. They cook real meals, actual food on actual cooktops, parked in a lot somewhere in the middle of the country. And they stay clean every single day in a space smaller than your bathroom. So how do they actually do it? How do you sleep with a diesel engine rumbling 10 feet from your head? Where do you shower when the nearest city is 600 miles away? What do you eat when there's no kitchen and no grocery store for 100 miles? And how do you stay clean, day after day, living inside a box on wheels? Before we get into it, do me a quick favor and drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. I genuinely love seeing how far this trucking community reaches. It's all over the world. And if life on the road is the kind of thing that pulls you in, go ahead and hit subscribe, because there's a lot more coming. Because here's what I want to show you today. The reality of living inside a truck isn't a story about hardship. It's a story about how people take the smallest space imaginable and turn it into a home that works. And once you see how it's really done, you'll never look at one of those trucks the same way again. Let's start with the basics. Who are we actually talking about? Because not every truck driver lives in their truck. A lot of them run local routes, drop a load, and sleep in their own bed every night. The drivers we're talking about are different. They're long-haul, over-the-road drivers. The ones who take the runs that cross state lines, sometimes 3 or 4 of them, sometimes the whole width of the country. A trip that might cover 3, 4, even 5,000 miles before it's done. And they don't come home at the end of each day. They stay out for weeks at a time, sometimes longer. Now, think about what that actually means. If you were on the road that many nights a year and you had to check into a motel every single one of them, what would that cost? A truck stop motel room runs somewhere around $80 to $120 a night. Multiply that out across a month of being on the road, and you're looking at well over $1,000, sometimes closer to $2,000, just to sleep. Over a year, that's a staggering number. So it doesn't take long for a driver to do the math and realize that living in the truck isn't just more convenient. It's the only thing that makes any financial sense at all. And once you accept that the truck is where you're going to live, the very first thing you have to solve is the one thing all of us need and none of us think about until we can't get it: sleep. Here's something most people never even consider. Falling asleep in a truck stop parking lot is nothing like falling asleep in a quiet bedroom. Picture it. You've just driven 10 hours straight. Your back is stiff, your eyes are burning, and all you want in the world is to close them. But outside your window there are 50 other trucks, and nearly every one of them is running, humming, idling, vibrating in the dark. That sound never fully stops. Ask a new driver what the hardest part of the job is, and a lot of them won't say the loneliness, and they won't say the food. They'll say the noise. That constant low rumble of diesel engines that follows you into the bunk. So how do they deal with it? Well, it turns out a modern sleeper cab is built for exactly this. The walls are thicker than you'd expect, insulated like the walls of a house. The windows are layered, and almost every driver runs blackout curtains that seal the bunk off completely. Once those curtains are pulled shut, the cab becomes its own little world. The parking lot, the lights, the other trucks, all of it disappears to the other side of a wall that suddenly doesn't feel relevant anymore. But noise isn't the only enemy at bedtime. There's the temperature. Sleeping in a truck isn't just uncomfortable when it's cold. out in the worst of winter, it can be genuinely dangerous. And this is where a couple of clever pieces of equipment come in. The first is called a bunk heater. It is a small, independent heater that burns just a trickle of diesel and pushes warm air straight into the sleeping area, holding a comfortable temperature without the driver having to leave the main engine running all night. The second is called an APU, which stands for Auxiliary Power Unit. Think of it as a small generator that runs on its own, keeping the heat or the air conditioning going, the lights on, the fridge cold, all without burning through a full tank overnight. Together, those two things turn the bunk from a metal box into a controlled, stable, comfortable room, no matter what the weather is doing outside. And here's the part that genuinely surprises people. A lot of long-haul drivers will tell you they sleep better in the truck than they do at home. It sounds strange until you understand why. The routine is identical every single night. The space is familiar. There's no one wandering down the hallway, no dog jumping on the bed, no list of chores waiting. Just the curtains, the quiet hum, and a set number of hours before the next run. And those hours aren't optional either. There are strict rules about rest in this industry. A driver has to take a long mandatory break before they are legally allowed to drive again. So sleep isn't something they squeeze in around the edges. It's built into the job. It's the law. So that's sleep handled. But sleep is the easy part, because the next question is the one everyone's secretly wondering about, and it's a little more complicated. After weeks on the road, how on earth do these drivers stay clean? Where do they shower? And this is where the reality gets genuinely impressive. Most major truck stops, the big chains like Pilot, Flying J, Love's, and TA, aren't really gas stations at all. They're more like small cities built specifically for truck drivers, and tucked inside them are private shower rooms. Now, when I say private shower, forget whatever grim image just popped into your head. These aren't a curtain and a drain in the corner. They're actual private rooms, a real shower, a sink, a toilet, clean towels, and a lock on the door. The whole room. And here's the part that surprises people the most. A lot of drivers never pay for them. The big truck stop chains run loyalty programs, and every time a driver fuels up, they earn shower credits. Given how much diesel a truck burns through in a week, most professional drivers rack up far more shower credits than they could ever use. So the shower is effectively free. Some drivers will tell you, only half joking, that they take better showers on the road than they do at home. And honestly, given that those rooms get cleaned between every single use, they might have a point. So the driver is rested and the driver is clean. Now there's one thing left, and it's the one most people get the most wrong: dinner. Here's what most people picture: a greasy burger from a truck stop diner, a gas station hot dog that's been turning on the rollers since Tuesday, a bag of chips and an energy drink, eaten alone in the dark. And look, that exists. Nobody's pretending it doesn't. But for a large number of drivers, the reality is completely different. Because a lot of them cook. And I don't mean reheating something in a microwave. I mean actually cooking. Real meals prepared inside the cab, parked in a lot somewhere in the middle of the country. Why? Same reason as everything else out here. Do the math. Eating at a truck stop diner 3 times a day, every day, adds up fast, easily over $1,000 a month, just on food that isn't even particularly good for you. So drivers got creative. And it turns out a modern sleeper cab is surprisingly well set up for cooking. Most of them have a 12-volt refrigerator that runs off the truck's electrical system, keeping food fresh for days. A lot of drivers add a microwave, or a small portable induction cooktop, or one of those compact air fryers that have taken over everyone's kitchen. Some of them skip the cab entirely and set up a little propane grill and a folding table outside. And just like that, a truck stop parking lot turns into a pretty decent outdoor kitchen at sunset, somewhere out west, which, when you think about it, sounds better than most people's weeknight dinner plans. And it isn't only about saving money. Drivers who are gone for weeks at a time genuinely struggle to eat well on the road. Truck stop food is heavy, repetitive, and expensive. Being able to cook a real meal, to actually control what goes into your body, has a direct effect on energy, on sleep, on how you feel after 500 miles behind the wheel. For someone whose body is their living, that's not a small thing at all. So they sleep well, they shower, they eat real food. Which brings us to the part that almost nobody thinks about, the part that's less impressive and a lot more honest. Because staying clean in a truck isn't just about that one shower at the truck stop. It's about everything in between. And that's where the real logistics of life on the road show up. Think about it. You're living in a space smaller than a walk-in closet, and there's no bathroom sink to brush your teeth at, no closet to hang your clothes, no washing machine, and only so much water on board. So how does that actually work day to day? It works because experienced drivers turn it into a system. Water is precious in a truck, so it gets used carefully. A lot of drivers keep jugs of fresh water on board for brushing teeth, washing hands, and quick cleanups between truck stops. Trash gets managed tightly because a small space turns messy in a hurry. And then there's the laundry. Those same big truck stops usually have laundry facilities right there, with washers and dryers a driver can use while they shower and eat, so they roll back out with clean clothes for the week ahead. Some drivers time it perfectly. Park, start a load, take a shower, grab dinner, fold the laundry, and they've reset their entire living situation in about an hour, without ever really leaving the lot. And for the question everyone's too polite to ask, the bathroom in the middle of the night when the nearest truck stop is an hour away, the answer is more practical than glamorous. A lot of drivers simply keep a small portable toilet stored in the cab. Simple, discreet, and exactly as charming as it sounds. It's not the part of the job anyone puts in the brochure, but it's part of how you make a life work in a space this small. And that's really the thing that ties all of this together. Because the drivers who last out here, the ones who do this for years, aren't just good at driving. They're good at building a life inside a very small space. They figure out the sleep. They figure out the shower. They figure out the food and the water and the laundry and all the little unglamorous problems that come with calling a truck home. They take a box on wheels and they make it work. To most of us, a truck is just something we move over for on the highway. Something in the next lane we barely notice. But for the person behind that wheel, it's something else entirely. It's a bedroom. It's a kitchen. It's a bathroom, a laundry room, an office, and a living room. All of it packed into one small space, all of it moving 70 miles an hour down the interstate. It's where they sleep, where they eat, where they call home to say goodnight to their kids, sometimes for weeks without a break. It isn't always easy. The space is tight, the road is long, and it can be lonely in a way that's hard to explain to someone who's never done it. But here's what surprises people most of all. Ask the drivers who really live this life, and a lot of them will tell you they wouldn't trade it for anything. Because they've taken something most people would find impossible and turned it into a home that's entirely their own. So now I want to hear from you. If you're a driver, what's the one thing about living in your truck that most people would never guess? Drop it down in the comments. I read them, and the folks watching will want to know. And if you've never set foot in a sleeper cab in your life, what surprised you the most about how this really works? Let me know. Every comment helps more people discover the world of trucking and keeps this channel rolling. If you got something out of this, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't yet, because there's a whole lot more where this came from. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you down the road.